Good morning and welcome to this session of Business Research Methods. We are in our third module, and in this session we will be doing two aspects. One is what is secondary data, and the other one is projective techniques. We will first do secondary data, which is a very simple concept. Secondary data is the data that has already been collected through primary source. This is made available for other researchers. Okay. For example, the government body, the central government every 10 years takes a census. This is a primary data for the government of India. But this research can be used by a variety of people for analysis. For example, I want to check the malnutrition rate. I can take it for one particular district. I can take data from the census, and I can use it with the current scenario, COVID scenario, and check and see whether malnutrition has gone up or down for children because of COVID. Like this, I can make use of this data in so many different ways. They capture a variety of things: household income, and then what kind of work people do, what are the salary structures, unemployment, variety of things they capture. So we can use those things for our study. So secondary data again is a data that is collected by a particular individual or an organization. It can be a medical organization, or it can be governments, or it can be marketing agencies or consulting agencies. They do a lot of data collection for a variety of reasons. Especially the consulting agencies, this is their work, this is how they get money. They look at one particular niche segment and they collect a lot of data and make it ready for people for investments, like that. So secondary data, you should understand, is being collected for another reason, and then it is used for a particular study as a secondary source, right? So we would see what are the sources of secondary data. Where does this secondary data come from? Okay. So if you see company records, all the companies have their yearly compilation of annual report. So that can be a good place from where you can start looking. Next is internet. So Google is ubiquitous. For any aspect you get, and then you have such rich data available in the internet. Print media, newspapers, and then magazines. There are these directories. For example, Gems and Jewelry Organization of India, or FICCI. Those kind of people, they bring out the directories with so much of information, contact details, and then financial details. So that can be a very good source of secondary data. And government brings out a lot of these project work, like for instance, sericulture, something on now the current thing is on aqua, shrimp culture, mushroom culture. So they bring out like this a variety of small projects which you can use for business. So this is as far as the print media is concerned. Census and other government records. Each of the department in government, external affairs, Ministry of Commerce, health department, like that, each and every rural department, women. So all the departments bring in a lot of data, studies. And so that can also be the source of secondary data. Company record, internet, print media, and census. Now again this we have to classify because there's so much under this. So we will go to the next level of classification. So if you look at the secondary data classification, internet again is divided into a thing: source, internet, external data. Okay, category: books and periodicals, government publication, non-government association, directories, industrial expert, special collections. It is like the next level of that particular flowchart we just saw now. Media: hard copy, which is what was written as print there. Local, online, internet again. Database, references and source. You have ProQuest, so many databases. Okay, so that's another source of secondary data. Right. Another classification. This is how to classify online data. Computerized online data: online, internet, offline. This is bibliographic database, numerical database, full text database, directory database, special purpose database. You go to ProQuest and please see these things, then you will know how data can be a business. Okay, ProQuest. Just type ProQuest, go to that site and see only through colleges they get millions of dollars from around the world. Why? Because they have close to thousands of publications in management, in science, in any field you talk about. They have a particular journal, and that journal is published quarterly or half yearly. They are researched articles, right? So that is their business, and all the colleges pay a premium to get that database, and students and faculty in turn use it for their PhD work or for their publication work. Okay, so this is intellectual data. Scientific journals, you see, just go to ProQuest and see, then you will know how data can make money, right? So that is secondary data. So let us now go to what are the advantages and disadvantages of secondary data. Secondary data is someone else's thing. What are the advantage? It is available instantaneously. It's available instantaneously. That's the first advantage. Second one, faster and less expensive. So almost all data now, but for publications like ProQuest, are paid. Rest of them are free. So faster and less expensive. Requires no access to subjects. So it's free access. Some of them are paid if you need very niche requirements in terms of medical database or so on and so forth. Government database are available free. International trade data are available free. So all these are secondary data formats. So these are the advantages. It provides access to a lot of knowledge. What is disadvantages? Uncertainty in terms of accuracy. See, again, this I would not call it a disadvantage. You should know which particular source to go and get it from. Most of the times people choose to quote Times of India. Times of India is not a research organization. It is a newspaper. So if you are quoting something, you should go to the Source data. What is source data? If Times is quoting something on import and export, you should go back to import and export source data, Ministry of Commerce, and look up. If you are, it is, if you want the exact data for Sensex, it's not very prudent to go to Times of India. It's late. Best is to go to online services, and Bombay Stock Exchange. So that is the difference between source data. So uncertainty, and so each particular organization will give a different data point. That is also another big disadvantage. For example, GDP, if you look, Indian government will claim something, an economic forum will claim something, so each one will have, RBI's thing will have something, so there will be slight differences which ought to be there. Okay, so you have to decide and say which one I am going to follow for this particular data source. Data not consistent with needs. So that particular data is meant for something else. So when you are using that data, you should be smart enough to know where to use it. Right? So that is a very important point. Inappropriate units of measurement. For example, I want the loss in stock market for the past 5 days only. Will you have a data like that? They will have it for fortnightly basis. They will have it for monthly basis, weekly basis. That is what is meant by inappropriate unit of measurement. You want it for your study for 5 days. But that's not what you will exchange Bombay Stock Exchange to do and send it to you. Right? Next very important thing, time period inappropriate. So it will be outdated. The best example I gave you was newspaper. There is no point in seeing yesterday's newspaper for today's stock market price. The best is to switch on to the internet and see what's the current price that is trading in. Right? So these are the advantages and disadvantages of secondary data. The next one is projective techniques. I will record it in another capsule and send it. It's easier for me to upload, and it's easier for you all to learn also. Thank you very much.